Welcome to this meditation on rain. This is part of a series of guided meditations for the ODKM program at George Mason University. I am Dr. Stacey Guenther. This meditation of rain is particularly effective if you're going through difficulty and if you're in a stuck place, or if you're working with some difficult emotion. And so I invite you, before we begin the meditation, to consider a situation you're currently experiencing, a situation that is causing you stuckness or difficulty or pain, and bring it to mind, allowing yourself to really feel into that difficulty. As we begin, I invite you to sit in a comfortable sitting position. One that is both comfortable and allows you to be fully awake, with your feet planted on the floor and your hands held in your lap or resting on your thighs or knees. And I invite you now to close your eyes or lower and soften your gaze. We begin this rain practice by focusing on the R of rain, which stands for recognize. And I invite you to take just a moment to recognize the situation you're currently experiencing by simply bringing it to mind and becoming aware of how the situation has affected you. And as the situation emerges in your mind, I invite you to refrain from analyzing it or making sense of it, the he said, she said of it, and instead just allowing the situation to play in your mind as if you're watching a movie, allowing it to be just as it is without trying to make it better or change it or wish it different. Just recognizing this current situation that's causing you some difficulty. Just being present with it without judging your reaction, without wanting to change it or make it better. Just being present with it. And just being with this situation, becoming fully aware of your experience of the situation. We will now move on to the A of rain, which is to allow or accept. But if you need some more time to recognize, to allow the event to play out in your mind, simply push pause now. So now that we have worked through the R of rain, recognizing the situation, we'll now move into the A, which will provide a space for us to allow or accept that situation. And we do this by bringing our attention to whatever feels most difficult about the experience and what you have recognized, perhaps naming any emotions that are present, allowing them to be in your system by saying yes to them. For example, if you feel sad, you're going to name sadness silently in your mind and then say, yes, sadness, thereby allowing it to just be in your system. We're just allowing these emotions to be present without changing or editing them. You may also want to notice any body sensations that are present. Again, just noticing them, letting them be as they are. Your whole job here is just to be with whatever is emerging and arising. I invite you to avoid analysis, trying to figure out why you feel the way you do, and instead just be with however you feel. Allow yourself to feel whatever you feel. This doesn't mean that you have to like it, but it is an acceptance that you cannot change the past. And in this way, you are accepting what is. Allowing, in some ways, is the willingness to just pause and stay present with the life that is here, just as it is. We'll now be moving into the I of rain. I is for investigate. But if you need more time for the A to allow or accept, simply press pause now. And now moving into investigate. I invite you to bring an interested and kind attention to your experience. And you may want to do that by asking yourself some of the following questions, which may be helpful as you investigate. Of course, feel free to experiment and figure out what works best for you. Here are some questions to explore. What is the worst part of this experience or situation for you? What most wants your attention of this experience? And you may get some clues around that from body sensations, emotions that are present. Just paying attention to that. And just see if you're able to notice the most difficult or painful thing that you are believing in this moment about the situation. Tuning into your body. Are you able to feel any emotions or tightness or difficulty in your body? You may notice some sensations in the chest or in the stomach. And again, just noticing these. You may even want to ask the sensations what they're trying to tell you, what they mean. If the most vulnerable, hurting part of you could communicate, what do you think it could express? What do you think it would say? And what do you think this hurt or vulnerable part of you would want you to be with it? And just noticing if you have drifted off into the story of what happened, if you find yourself analyzing or really trying to figure it out. These are mental activities, cognitive and analytical, that you could certainly work with following the meditation. But for now, really focusing on the feelings, on the felt sense in your body, on that vulnerable and hurt space within you, becoming fully aware and acquainted with your inner life. And just trying to sense what this vulnerable and hurt space would need in order to begin healing. And as we begin to turn to the final portion of this meditation, the N, which is for nurture, if you're not ready to move into the final portion, just hit pause. I invite you to take some moments of breathing consciously, perhaps adjust your posture in a way that really helps you to get in touch with your most awake experience of your heart and your mind and of your inner being. So as we move into the nurture of this meditation, I invite you to call to mind someone who makes you feel truly loved. That person could be living or not. Someone who always felt very calm and loving to you, whose presence made you feel loved and cared for. And just allowing this person or being's presence to care and nurture you, to offer you love and acceptance and support. And as you are beginning to feel supported and loved by this person's presence, you may want to get in touch with that vulnerable space that we contacted before within you, the hurt space, and just offer it love and gratitude and acceptance and compassion. You may even want to consider other things that make you feel nurtured, perhaps leaning into the love of a higher reality, if that is something you believe in, or just allowing for the healing process to unfold, knowing that you're being cared for the entire way. You may want to put a hand on your heart, allowing yourself to be soothed and comforted. And just allowing yourself to let go of the situation that you have been reflecting on, allowing it to float away like a bubble. And as we begin to bring this meditation to a close, you may want to see if there's a message for your true self, your inner being, or your soul, that part of you would like to share with this part of you that is present right now. Something that may be helpful to remember. Something that may feel like a gift from this meditation. Closing this meditation, I invite you to wiggle your toes and fingers. Take a nice big deep breath in, releasing slowly. And as you do, gently blink open your eyes. Come back into this time and space. Thanking yourself for taking the time to reflect on the situation in your life.